Being prepared mentally and physically and having the right tools for the job are fundamental to how I hunt for potentially deadly river monsters. I firmly believe that an ounce of preparation is worth a pound of cure. But there are some cases that have proved impossible to fully prep for, pushing me into life or death emergencies. In one little-known country in South America, a perfect storm of events resulted in one of my closest calls with disaster. In Suriname, in the northern part of South America, one species of fish stands accused of attacking both animals and people. I head to meet members of the Trio tribe who've witnessed these attacks.
Dinho's uncle was hunting one day with his dog. Hunting dogs, when they're hunting, they're barking, barking, barking. Dinho's uncle found his dog dead in the creek with its stomach ripped open.
The tribesmen say the culprit isn't the notorious and deadly piranha, but a creature with more monstrous weaponry, the wolfish. It's said that pound for pound, the wolfish can dominate the piranha. There's only one way to find out if that's true. I start off hunting with a lure to figure out what will attract this hidden beast. But I'm having no luck. So we head into a more remote part of the river in search of fresh bait. Yet it seems already that circumstances might be turning against me.
It may be nothing to worry about, this black cloud here, because the weather in the tropics, it can be very localized. You can see a storm over in one direction. Maybe it comes your way, you get wet, maybe it goes somewhere else.
Minutes later, the storm seems to have passed us by, or so I think. Out on this exposed island, in the middle of the river, I'm about to discover just how changeable and dangerous conditions are in this remote jungle. My guide, Salamoni, is showing me where to find bait.
This is a classic example of pure fishing in a way. It's starting with absolutely nothing, just coming down with a couple of rods, no bait, and just poking around in these cracks to find crabs. And then a crab is pulled into pieces, and that's where we start from. Hopefully we turn that.
Should I take this off?
I would. Yeah? That lightning strike was right on top of us. Salamoni was standing in the water. He actually felt the shock. He got a shock through the water. Abandoning. We're getting in the boat and we're going.
Let's go.
The lightning has struck one of the men in my film crew.
2. Our sound recorder has been hit. Was actually struck on the head by that bolt of lightning. Right, we might need some first aid here. Let's go.
Quick.
He got the worst of it because the rest of us were crouching down.
I've got a bit of a headache. James, who's behind the camera at the moment, has got a headache. I think it might have actually hit all three of us. Chris definitely got the brunt of it. I mean, very, very lucky for him. He was actually wearing thick rubber-sole boots, so he's conscious, which is a huge relief.
The remoteness of our location is now even more apparent. We consider calling off my mission to catch the wolfish. But thankfully, Chris's condition continues to improve, and within 12 hours he is once more back on his feet and eager to get me fishing again. I discuss it with the crew, and they tell me we can't quit. I've come so far up this remote river, I have to push on, even if it could mean heading further into danger. I figure that if I'm going to track down the wolfish, I have to go where even the tribespeople don't normally go. We push our way ever deeper into the jungle.
Looks like we're following the course of a sort of a dried up sub-creek. So the chances are there's going to be a bit of a junction here. And that does look like the kind of place where you might find fish.
Salamoni believes he's spotted a wolfish. He quickly pulls out his bow.
I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but just seen movement on the surface. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
He takes aim, but misses the fish.
One thing very, very striking. That fish, when it came in, that was in very shallow water. Not just that, very, very tangly water. So this isn't a monster of the deep, this is a monster sometimes of the shallows. The fishing with a line is going to be very close quarters, and who knows, that might even be at night. So this is going to be quite some fishing.
I decide to have a go myself, using the gear I'm accustomed to. But I'm having no more luck than my guide.
No takes on the bait, no reaction to the popper.
So I fish on into the night. Salamone tells me that wolffish come out to hunt after dark. But so do other nighttime predators. A caiman is stalking the water right in front of me. And it's joined by others too. These monsters can grow to 16 foot long and are reputed to be man-eaters. But I've come too far to stop now.
Fish on!
At last, a wolffish on my line.
Oh yeah.
But one caiman wants it just as much as I do.
Hey, all right, don't fight, get out of it.
I'm going to try and just pull this up on the side. I was trying to pull the fish up on the side because a caiman was after it, and I've lost it. I've lost it. Hey. Damn.
The wolffish is proving to be one of the most elusive fish I've ever tried to catch.
Oh, it's off.
And with so many other predators around, one of the most dangerous. Undeterred, I re-enter the caiman's lair at night. But the storm's back. Standing on the prow of a very unstable boat, I don't know whether to call it a day or hold out for a break in my luck.
Oh, wait.
Could this be what I've been working for? A monster wolffish.
Here we go. Very strong, very strong. Here we go.
But I'm not the only one who wants it.
Hey, all right, don't fight, get out of it.
Here we go.
Out of the caiman's grasping jaws,
Over she comes.
a monster that's taken me 3 weeks to catch.
Fantastic, here we go. That's the result, that's lovely. And the stories I've heard about these, absolutely fearless. Anything comes near them, dogs, people, they'll go for it. So it looks quite gap-toothed, but actually, pull those lips back and you see they're very spiky fangs underneath there. There it is, the wolffish.
That creature, pound for pound, is possibly the toughest fish in South America. But in that case, it was the environment, not the fish, that came closest to dealing a fatal blow. When I'm fishing for monsters from a boat or from land, I have my gear to help me deliver the goods. But if I step away from the safety those provide and enter the underwater world, immediately I become vulnerable. The tables turn and I'm no longer the hunter. Now I become potential prey. I was looking for a creature that I already had a troubled relationship with, the arapaima. 10 years ago, I was helping a friend of mine, a research scientist, with his captive breeding program for this fish.
We'd caught several fish already and weighed and measured them without problem. When I let my guard down, from nowhere I had 90 pounds of solid bone and muscle smash into me. The impact was like being hit by the steering column in a car crash. As a result of that encounter, I now think the arapaima may be responsible for some previously unexplained deaths and disappearances. If I am going to investigate this theory, I need to demonstrate that my experience wasn't a freak occurrence. And arapaima do have the power, the ability, and even the intent to take a fisherman out. But more importantly, I need to prove that despite overfishing, there are still arapaima out there large enough to do the damage. Salted arapaima used to be a meal enjoyed across the Amazon. But since a ban on commercial fishing, a few enterprising ribeirinhos, or river people, have started to farm them in pens like this to satisfy the demand for arapaima meat. I've arrived just as they're preparing to fish one out for their own cooking pot.
Bom dia. Eu vou aí.
Tem que ficar de olho assim. There are 30 fish in here, and he says they're just jumping everywhere, and they are just, you're just having to duck. You risk getting hit by the head, and this is about the size of a boxing ring. It's about having, it's like having 30 people coming at you and just having to avoid them. Right, I'm going to have to just prepare myself a little bit. Suddenly, all my old fears from my painful encounter are back. But if I'm going to catch an arapaima capable of killing a man, then I need to face up to my fear. And if that means getting back into the water with one of these beasts, then that's what I'm going to have to do.
Essa posição. Bom. Melhorzinho. Vai levando pra lá, vai levando pra lá. Okay. Taking the net out.
It's a simple matter of netting one. But this is exactly what I was doing when I took the full force of an arapaima headbutt to the chest.
De frente, hein?
De frente é melhor. Bota o pé direito no chumbo.
I'm walking forward, which means all the vulnerable bits of my body, a boxer would be covering them up.
Tá beleza, tá beleza.
Okay,
tá
that's
beleza.
going well.
Vai começar a pular.
Right, they're going to start jumping any minute, he's saying. Any minute they're going to start jumping.
Opa, furou, afrouxa, afrouxa.
Okay, we didn't get one. I'm going to have to go through the whole thing again.
Knowing what's coming makes the second attempt even more daunting.
I'm afraid. Jeremy is afraid, he's saying. I think that is fairly clear to see. Right, he's saying they might be a bit tired this time, so they might...
There's no doubt that when cornered or trapped by nets, the arapaima becomes a formidable force of nature. With the help of these arapaima farmers, I'm finally holding one of these incredible fish in my arms.
Look at that thing.
My fear has been replaced with a new respect.
Vamos levantar, we're going to lift it up.
Agora.
We're going to let go.
Agora. Muito bonito. Agora solta a cabeça.
Oh, now we're going to let the head go.
Maybe I'm now ready to face an arapaima on my own and prove that there are still arapaima in the wild big enough to inflict a deadly blow. I've heard of a lake that might just be the place to do that. Oh! There we go, that was one. I just saw this red tail. That was an arapaima. And what I've got to do is try and quietly get into position so I can actually put a bait near that fish. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. That's a fish, that's a good fish. Closer. Can see the fish. Precis avgång på peka. Right, it's got to be out. There we go. Alikash, mer bossaki. Oh, look at that! It came out so easily. Big under.
Yes.
Okay, we're ready. There it is. Look at that for a fish. Look at that. Massive female arapaima, about 150 pounds. I finally have the proof in my arms that huge arapaima are still out here. This is a true dinosaur of the deep. But I mean, mainly this fish is just a bony head with a big cylinder of muscle behind it. And if this fish wasn't tired out, I don't think I'd be able to hold it. That's good. With that capture, I finally overcame my fear of a fish that haunted me for over a decade. But on another mission, I was up against a predator I'd never faced before, using a technique I'd never dared to attempt. In the United States, using neither rod nor line, I experienced a kind of fishing that, partly because it can be so dangerous, is illegal in many states. I'd learned that in Missouri, a boat full of tourists had overturned in a storm, and 8 people were drowned. There were unconfirmed reports that giant catfish might be implicated in their deaths. What I really wanted to know was how big a catfish needs to grow to be capable of overpowering and killing a fully grown man. Getting the answer proved to be one of my scariest ever encounters. To find out the truth about the power of American catfish, I start by meeting Bobby Sparks, someone with a bad experience of trying to catch this predator.
And he clamped down. He started shaking and spinning. I didn't know where I was, up or down. I was almost to the top. I couldn't get my nose above the water, and he was pulling me down. That last pull, because he was pulling me down in when my friends finally got to me and caught me and pulled me out.
If your friends hadn't been with you on that day, what do you think would or could have happened?
I think that he would have held me there and drowned me. I really feel that I would have ate supper with Jesus that night.
Bobby has no doubts about a catfish's power. Even though I'm half Bobby's size, to fully test this predator's ability to kill, I'm planning to enter its lair. I'm going to fish the way locals do, using a method called noodling. It means I'll be turning myself into bait. I'll be diving underwater and putting my arm, or if necessary, entire body, into a catfish nest. And I know that male catfish will defend their territory at all costs. After hearing Bobby's story, I don't dare do this alone. I'm taking 2 guys who, unlike me, know what they're doing. Nate Williams and his friend Dylan are expert noodlers. They lead me to a secret riverbank in Oklahoma where they believe there's a nest of big flathead catfish.
You want to keep that grip as tight as you can because they can sense weakness, and when they feel you just loosen it, that's when they'll try to do their death roll. It's
clear head and don't panic, isn't it? Yeah. Right, okay. Let's go and do this thing. I don't want to exaggerate the dangers here, but I'm fully aware that almost every year people drown while noodling. Before going underwater, it's essential to build a mental picture of the layout below the surface.
A little farther down, go down a little farther, you'll be able to tell.
Oh yeah.
That's where the top of it is, and then the rest of it goes down the back.
After feeling around, I've worked out that there's a hole where a catfish could be hiding. My heart's beating fast, so I won't be able to hold my breath as long as normal. I'll probably have a maximum of 60 seconds underwater before I'm in trouble. I feel around for what seems like an eternity, but there doesn't appear to be anyone home. I head still further into the murk. Then suddenly, something bites onto my hand.
Oh. He's in there, keep it blocked.
Yeah.
He just swallowed my whole foot. Yep.
Yeah. I'm in a river in Oklahoma, and I've cornered a massive catfish in its nesting hole. This is my first time noodling, and I'm not at all comfortable about being this creature's bait. To get it out of its nest, I have to go back underwater. But I'm coming out on top.
Wait.
It's my first hand-caught catfish. It takes all three of us to overpower it.
But that fish was lying there, boom, bit me once and let go. And then I sort of fumbled around and then actually reached into its mouth. It's a creepy feeling. I'm putting my body in there. As fishing goes, it doesn't get much more mad than that.
But this catfish is still full of fight. It tries to do a characteristic roll. If we can't stop its spin, it could snap my wrist.
Oh! That's doubling my... Oh!
Luckily, it decides to let me go.
Big flathead catfish. I mean, well named. That head is flat, that lower jaw poking up as well. But just what a beast.
It weighs over 50 pounds. And it would have more than enough strength to pull me under.
When I first heard people talking about North American catfish as being fish that can potentially kill people, my first reaction was, this is a bit unbelievable. This is something I've got to look into. But now, having actually tried this form of fishing where what you're actually doing is trying to provoke the fish to bite you and then hang on to you while you're under the water, in the dark, with just one lungful of air, I can really, really appreciate how these fish can potentially cause human fatalities.
If I hadn't had Nate and Dylan by my side, I might not have made it out of that stream alive. And this wasn't the only time I've been forced to enter a deadly creature's lair. On one occasion, even my helper became a potential threat to my safety. I was investigating a predator that's now invading America, the snakehead.
These fish are top-level predators that will eat anything in their path. Snakeheads reportedly even attacked humans.
I needed to separate fish fact from fiction. So I started my hunt in Florida's canals.
Oh, did you see that? Yeah, that is a fish on. So now I've actually got my hands on one of these things, I can see why it's called a snakehead. That's definitely the mouth of a predator.
But a predator that only takes on small prey, such as rats and lizards.
I was able to conclude that snakeheads in the States aren't big enough to harm humans, but I'd heard that on the other side of the world they grow bigger and potentially much more dangerous. I was determined to meet these fish in the flesh to test just how violent they could be.
My destination, the River Kwai in Thailand. I'm told snakeheads here grow as big as a 5-year-old child. I'm used to tall tales, but the story I'm about to hear is so freakish that no one could possibly have made it up. Fisherman Kun Lang vividly recalls a Burmese couple who came here 3 years ago to hunt snakeheads.
So what actually happened was that the fisherman was under the water with his spear gun, shot the snakehead head on, and actually scored a direct hit. The fish then just kept on coming and shoved the rear end of the metal spear through the fisherman's mask and into his face. Apparently the spear actually came out the back of the man's head. The wife was still sitting in the boat, dived down into the water and found the fisherman dead. Well, I actually came here doubting these stories, doubting that this fish has actually been responsible for any fatalities. And here we have a very graphic case of a snake actually causing a human fatality. To find out if snakeheads are as violent as this story suggests, I decide to put my rod and line to one side. I plan to encounter this fish using the same method as the fisherman who was killed. I head upriver, knowing full well that I might be meeting the giant snakehead at the most dangerous time of the year. The rainy season is the time when snakeheads breed. The adults protect their young with no holds barred. Kundar is the fisherman I'm hoping is going to help me. His tools of the trade are a very basic spear gun and a worn-out mask. The problem with this spear gun is that it takes a long time to reload. So Kundar's actually invented his own rapid reload spear. It looks simple but deadly. I just hope he knows how to use it. He's certainly passionate, but I definitely want to keep on the right side of that spear. Dar takes me to a place where he knows there are snakeheads. In these conditions, I'm straining to see the ripple that reveals the adult fish guarding their cluster of young. Then Dar spots movement. And with our target pinpointed, the hunt can begin. I'm getting a bit nervous. It is totally another world down there.
Seeing me?
By diving with a small camera,
See the guys?
I hope to capture the entire drama as it unfolds. Dar slips into the water, leaving me scrambling to catch up. I have to stay close, but I've never been fishing with anyone as predatory as Dar. Bad weather has churned the water into a murky soup, and I struggle to keep up. I don't want to get between Dar and his quarry. I could easily wind up getting speared myself. Neither of us can see each other, or the snakeheads.
It's murky down there, it's murky.
I'm having second thoughts about this. I'm starting to feel like human bait. On one side, super aggressive giant snakeheads. On the other, Dar with his rustic spear gun. But I can't turn around now. When Dar sees baby snakeheads breaking the surface barely a boat length away, it means the adults must be nearby. The snakeheads have vanished into the murk, leaving Dar to hunt on instinct. All I glimpse is Dar's back as he arms the gun. Then before I know it, we're in the middle of a cluster of young snakeheads and chaos breaks out. I can only pray his spear doesn't hit me.
I think we've got one.
My elation is largely because it's the fish on his spear, not me.
I'm gonna keep out of the way, I'm gonna keep out of the way.
With a single shot, Dar has caught a female giant snakehead.
Sitting in a boat, dangling a line over the edge, believe me, is easy in comparison.
Despite taking a direct hit, the fish simply seems to shrug it off. Dar's spear has gone through the muscle of its back, but missed its vital organs.
I'm just hoping it doesn't double back and have a go at me as a last farewell. She's actually free now, she can go if she wants.
The fish is almost as lucky as I was.
There she goes.
Well, it's actually gone back into the lake to be reunited with the young. So really good to see. You don't expect to see that from a fish caught on a spear.
That brief moment under the murky water when I thought it might be me on the end of Dar's spear counts among the most frightening of my life. But sometimes I choose to deliberately push my luck if the prize is big enough. And facing up to one of the world's most ruthless predators is definitely on that list.
4 meters.
Yeah?
I find sharks a disturbing adversary at the best of times.
I'm fully aware of their ability to inflict terrible wounds, and worse, their brutal capacity to kill. But always my encounters with them
That's something on.
have been from the safety of shore or a boat.
Look at that.
To discover if their reality always matches their monstrous myth as frenzied eating machines, I decided I would go eyeball to eyeball on their terms.
With none of my familiar defenses, I was wide open to potential danger.
The Solomon Islands lie like a necklace around this part of the South Pacific, a scattering of nearly 1,000 stunning islands. My final destination, one of the most remote parts of this wilderness, the Morovo Lagoon. I'd heard the Fahole tribe here fish and swim among sharks, but somehow are never attacked. I'm hoping to find out why.
Is it true that no Fahole person has ever been attacked?
It's never happened.
The village elder says it's their faith that protects them. A little later, I discover that while no Fahole have ever been killed by a shark, 5 people from neighboring tribes have been. There's no guarantee the Fahole's faith protects me. To separate fact from folklore, I decide the only option is to jump in the deep end. I head to a nearby reef, packed with dozens of black tip and grey reef sharks. Bull sharks and tiger sharks, 2 of the most deadly species, also regularly haunt this spot and could turn up at any time. Normally when I go fishing, it's pretty murky, muddy water. I have to use my imagination to picture mentally what's down there. No need to use my imagination here. I'm noticing the breathing rate, the heart rate going up a little bit. You know, this is just, it's not conscious. There's that sort of gut reaction when it comes to sharks. You know what they're capable of. And I'm sort of putting off the moment a little bit. I'm enjoying watching them, but I'm going to have to get in there. But, yeah, interesting moment. This is my moment of truth. Will these sharks live up to their reputation? Sharks have an exquisite sensory system. They're able to pick up electrical activity inside the body of their prey. Some say they can detect the increasing heartbeat of someone who's afraid. Oh, talk about eyeball to eyeball. That's really, I don't know, it's really actually quite spooky. The clarity, I'm just seeing these slit eyes passing within about 3 feet of me. And they seem fairly unconcerned. It's almost as if I'm one of the shoal. But always in the back of my mind is this thing about sharks, you just know what they can do. But so far, so good. Amazingly, these creatures are staying at arm's length. They seem as wary of me as I am of them. I'm still not sure if faith guarantees the Vahole's protection. I'm just glad I've got all my limbs. And despite being surrounded by dozens of sharks, not one attempted to bite me.
Talk about auto-perception. People who know sharks always say that they're not these sort of frenzied eating machines of popular myth that just tear into any bit of flesh that's in front of them. And I mean, talking of myths, you know, that is the myth. The reality is something very, very different. It doesn't happen.
I like to think I know how far I can push my limits, but there are times when I risk getting out of my depth. On Lake Chamo in Ethiopia, I was entering a death zone every day.
I think if ever there's a deadly place to fish, this is it.
I was hunting the Nile perch. Some people say this is Africa's largest freshwater fish, and it's the reason fishermen put their lives at risk. The death rate for fishermen here is reported to be higher than anywhere else.
I generally scout out an area before I fish. But on this lakeside, the best spots are already taken. These guys can eat up to half their own body weight in a single meal. And very often, it's fishermen that end up on the menu. Nile crocodiles are thought to kill hundreds of people every year, making them responsible for more fatal attacks on humans than lions, bears, and sharks combined. And occasionally monsters, up to 20 foot long, will show up here.
Situations like this that make you rethink your place on the food chain. I'm normally the person who's doing the hunting.
I appreciate how risky it is to fish just yards from crocs. But when I meet a local fisherman, I learn of another danger here. Altai was attacked just a few months ago by a hippo.
Can you show your... This horrific wound on the chest here, apparently there were 3 ribs broken and with, you know, bits of rib actually visible sticking out. I mean, for me, it just really underlines just what a dangerous job this is, what a dangerous place this is to be a fisherman.
Hippos may look like slow, lumbering beasts, but many consider them Africa's most dangerous animal. They kill over 300 people every year. I'm about to find out exactly how dangerous when another fisherman, Asko, asked me to help collect the day's catch. It means making my way through the shallows where both hippos and possibly crocs too are lurking. In my very flimsy raft, I head out for the first of the 2 nets.
Bit of a ropey old net, this. Looks like a few crocs and hippos have actually gone through this. I think it's quite good actually having something to do while I'm out here rather than just drifting on this water. Oh, there's a fish already. So this is a tilapia. This is what the fishermen mostly catch, or what they catch in numbers. The reason they're catching them is they are very, very good eating, which is what's going to happen to this one.
But that one small tilapia is the full extent of this net's catch. It's a lot to risk for so little.
Good. Oh, another one? Another net. OK, we got another net. So this way now?
As we head for the second net, I spot a real threat.
This is a bit nerve-wracking. There's a pod of hippos over there. It's not them I'm worried about, but there's a couple of others on the fringes of the group which periodically go under and then come back up again, and they've been coming back up closer and closer.
Hippos are territorial animals, and I'm moving deeper into their territory. They've been known to flip boats that cross their path, chomping the occupants to death. But it's not just hippos. There's a big Nile croc out here too.
Strangely, I'm actually trying to get to the deep water because that's actually going to be safer than the shallows where the hippos and the crocs are. Hippo's very, very close. Looking this way, gone underwater. I don't like the look of this, actually.
If I get on the wrong side of a hippo, especially in this waterlogged raft, I'll be lucky to escape alive. For safety, Asko and I back off. and find a clear route back to shore as fast as possible. Although I was forced to leave that lake without a Nile perch, I was told I might have more luck at Murchison Falls in Uganda.
Now, this is very hostile water, and for the local fishermen with their methods, you know, it's not going to be easy to fish here. If you're fishing nets or long lines, you know, that kind of fishing involves getting in the water very often. There are crocs in here. This water is very, very strong. So this could be the only kind of gear that might stand a chance here.
I've got to watch my footing. If I fall in, I'll be sucked to the bottom of this churning water in seconds.
Right, oh. Fish on. That's a good sized fish. I can't see the fish because there's just all that foam. How about that? How about that? Right, this is one lump of a Nile perch. It's 112 pounds with the net. We've got to deduct a little bit for that, but that's well clear of 100 pounds.
One of the biggest Nile perch ever caught with a lure from the shore, from any river or lake. After my encounter with the hippos, pulling off a catch like this, never felt so good.
But on a mission to Alaska, I discovered that the shore is not always the safest place to be. I was hunting for a massive monster reputed to lurk in the deep subarctic lakes.
It's said to be maybe 20 foot long.
There's nothing there.
But wherever I searched, I was catching nothing.
And just nothing doing at all.
If such a creature exists, it would need a huge supply of food. So I change tack and begin to look for a potential food source before resuming the hunt for the monster itself. Every July, there is the world's largest run of sockeye salmon. This event is a bonanza for one of the world's most dangerous animals. It depends on the salmon run for food. This is bear country. We're only about 65 miles from where self-styled grizzly expert Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend were eaten alive by a hungry grizzly. And it looks like grizzlies might have already beaten me here. But there are no bears in sight, so my guide Glenn reckons it's safe for me to try and catch my first salmon.
Well, there you go, you got it.
Moments later, we spot an intruder.
Here's a bear just coming out of the brush on the far side.
My first salmon, and now my first grizzly.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not alone. Within minutes, 3 large bears have surrounded us. Our day on the river has suddenly become dangerous. With 3-inch long, hook-like claws, one swipe could be deadly.
In this case, I'm going to make a graceful retreat.
I try again, believing the coast is clear.
Here we go.
I'm so engrossed, I don't notice what's happening, only yards away.
Right, let's go. Okay.
The bear is a juvenile,
We're going to want to break the fish off.
but still a huge animal and clearly not afraid of us.
I think it... We just break it off. We're going to break it. No, we're just going to break the fish off.
In a snap, this bear could attack and kill any one of us.
Right, okay, you can have the fish. You can have the fish. Whoa!
A minute later, he's back. And this time there's no fish between him and me.
Whoa! No!
We have to fire a warning shot.
You guys plug your ears.
Fast. Yet even after that, this bear won't leave. was that a tripod?
For our safety, my film crew and I throw in the towel, leaving grizzlies the winners in this particular battle. Fishing is always testing and unpredictable, but often the danger comes not from the fish themselves, but from the environment. So during my adventures, I've lost a few of my 9 lives.
In the 30 years that I've been seeking out river monsters, I've survived a plane crash in the Amazon, nearly died of malaria in the Congo, and been slammed in the heart by a 90-pound battering ram. But I count myself extremely lucky that I've always been able to choose my risks and walk away at the end of my encounters. However, I firmly believe that nothing worthwhile is achieved without pushing yourself to the limit. Only by overcoming difficulties can we turn our dreams and hopes into reality.
There it is!
After perhaps the most punishing battle I have ever had, I land one of the biggest freshwater fish I've ever seen.